Hello and welcome to Story Meadow, stories for car journeys, bedtime and any other quiet time. My name's Marion and I'll be sharing this story with you today. But before we start, I'd like to share about the Story Meadow summer camp, which has been absolutely amazing so far. We welcome children in for the whole day from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock, where we tell a story, a Billy Bunny story of course, and then we bring it to life. So we play games from the story, we make arts and crafts from the story, we ask the children what will happen next in the story, and sometimes it takes unexpected turns. Each day we have mindfulness, we have bubble parties, we do campfire games and so much more. If you want to come along to the Story Meadow summer camp, please take a look at the Story Meadow website, which has all of the details on there. Lots of information, lots of videos to check out as well about what we have to offer. And I hope to see you there soon. So have a look at storymeadow.co.uk. Right, let's crack on with our lovely story, which is super special today because this is a story from our first Story Meadow birthday party. We had Erla's birthday party. Happy birthday, Erla. And we had a very special birthday story for her party. So I'm going to share it with you all today. Let's take a first big breath in through your nose and slowly back out through your mouth. And this time, put your hands out in front of you as if you were holding a lovely hot chocolate in your hands. You're going to breathe in the smell through your nose. Smell that lovely chocolate. And then blow out softly through your mouth to cool it back down. Lovely. Well done. I think it's time to start our story. Are you ready? Billy Bunny goes camping. One day, Billy Bunny woke up very excited because he was going camping with his family and he had never been camping before, so he was super duper excited. He hopped downstairs, he hugged his mummy and his daddy bunny and he said, please, 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 can we go, I'm so excited. Well, they needed to pack up their bags first, so Billy rushed upstairs. He packed his sleeping bag, he packed his teddy, he packed all of his toys and books and a torch and all important things for camping, and he went back downstairs, where Mummy Bunny had been preparing a little picnic. She said, Billy, we're going a very long way to go camping, so we need to have everything on our backs ready to carry, and we need to make sure we have a few snacks. Are you ready? Billy was very ready. He was more than ready. He'd been waiting for so long to go on his camping holiday. He said, yes, Mummy, please, can we get started? Please, can we go? So they popped their rucksacks on and Mummy Bunny took the picnic basket and they hopped out the door. And they had to walk for a very long way indeed. They had to go all the way through the forest. They had to go all the way through the meadow. And then they were in a part of the wood that Billy has never set foot in before. It was so different to what he was used to, and he could hear different sounds. And he decided he would get his binoculars out because he thought there might be some unusual things to spot around here. Maybe some insects or maybe some birds. So he used his binoculars to look all around him. Now it didn't take long for Billy to spot something very interesting. He heard a strange tapping noise. And he looked all around. He wondered what that might be. And he spotted a woodpecker. And this woodpecker was pecking away at the bark of a tree. Now, Billy looked really closely because he was wondering why that woodpecker was doing that. Maybe it was going to find something tasty to eat. But it seemed to be taking a long time. And actually, the woodpecker was pecking and pecking away until it made a hole. And then it started to bring some soft things into the hole. Do you know what the woodpecker was making? She was actually making a nest. So Billy watched, and he stayed there for quite a while watching because he thought it was absolutely fascinating and he wanted to see the woodpecker make her nest. In fact, he wanted Mummy Bunny and Daddy Bunny to see too, so he turned around and he said, "Daddy, look at this woodpecker I've just spotted." Oh dear. Well, Billy Bunny had stopped to look at the woodpecker nest. But Mummy Bunny and Daddy Bunny had not seen him stop, and they had actually carried on without him. Oh dear. Billy looked all around him and wondered if he might spot them, but there was no sign of Mummy Bunny and Daddy Bunny. He looked for tracks on the ground, but he couldn't spot any of those either. And he looked all around to think about maybe going away home and then they would come back and find him, but he was in a part of the forest that he did not know. Oh dear, he was feeling quite worried, so Billy Bunny sat down on a tree stump and he looked out the ground. And what he spotted was very, very strange. Billy Bunny spotted a strawberry, but the strawberry was not attached to a plant. It looked like it had just fallen out of the sky. So Billy picked it up and he looked at it carefully. And then he remembered. Mummy Bunny had made a picnic and she had probably packed some strawberries. Maybe this had come out of her picnic basket. Oh, Billy looked all around for another clue and sure enough he spotted another strawberry not too far away. So he hopped along and he found that one too. And then he hopped a little bit further and he found another one. And then a bit further and another one. It was a trail of strawberries. Billy felt so lucky and he followed the trail all the way. And it actually led to the campsite. He had made it, and Mummy Bunny and Daddy Bunny were there. They were so pleased to see him. They said, "Oh, Billy, did you get distracted again? Come here, you're all right. You've made it to the campsite, and look who else is here." Oh, Billy looked all around, and he noticed that all of his friends had made it too. There was Little Hedgehog, there was Little Fox, there was Squirrel Lily. They were all here and ready to have adventures at the campsite. Now Squirrel Lily said, "Oh, Billy, have you heard? There's actually a huge pond nearby. We can explore it, Billy. Come on, let's go to the pond. Come on. And she dragged Billy along and Little Hedgehog and Little Fox, and they all went over to look at the pond. Now in the pond, there were all sorts of big lily pads and all little frogs along the edge to make friends with, and it wasn't long before the little animals were splashing around and playing together. And Little Hedgehog was splashing around the most and giggling until, whoops, he actually slipped into the pond. Oh dear! Now, something you might not know yet is that hedgehogs are actually pretty good swimmers. They're actually very good at swimming all along and they paddle a bit like a doggy paddle. So Little Hedgehog was actually all right, but the problem was that Little Hedgehog did not like the cold water. So he paddled and he quickly hopped onto a lily pad. "Oh, it's freezing!" Now Billy said, "Come on, Little Hedgehog, come back to shore, you'll be all right." And Little Hedgehog did not want to get back into the cold water. He shook his head. He said, "No way am I getting back in. It's freezing. I'll stay on this lily pad all day long, Billy. I'm not going back in the freezing water." Oh dear, thought Billy. Now they needed to rescue Little Hedgehog. How do you think they could get Little Hedgehog out of the pond? Well, Billy looked to the side and he spotted quite a few big sticks and a big bit of bark from an old log as well. And it gave him an idea. He started to tie them together because Billy Bunny always has handy things in his bag. Some bits of string, some binoculars and anything else that might come in handy. And he had lots of string, so he started tying. And he tied all the wood together. And then he popped it in the water to check if it would float. And it did. He said, "Little Hedgehog, don't worry, I've made a raft, I'm coming for you." So he hopped onto his raft and he paddled over to Little Hedgehog. And Little Hedgehog giggled. He loved the raft. He hopped on with Billy and then they paddled around the pond. And then they got to the shore and Little Hedgehog said, "Oh, go round again, Billy, let's do it a bit more, let's paddle round a bit more." So they did. They paddled round and round in circles on the pond, and Billy even took Squirrel Lily for a turn, and then he took Little Fox for a turn as well, and they all went for really fun rides all around the pond, and they had the best day at their campsite. In fact, it didn't take long for night time to fall, and all of the animals gathered around the campfire. They played camp games, they had bubble parties, and they sang camp songs all together, and they had such a wonderful first day at their campsite. The end. Have you ever been camping? We had camping week recently at the Story Meadow summer camp, and we had the best time. We made dens, of course. We made little campfires. We played campfire games and had songs. We made little rafts and we tested them in a paddling pool, and we rescued Little Hedgehog for real. And Little Hedgehog was, we made him out of clay so that the children could take a little clay hedgehog home with a little den and with a little raft, whatever they could make up for Little Hedgehog. And we just had the best time camping, pretend camping, at the Story Meadow summer camp. Next week is Billy Bunny's birthday week. We also have Explorer week, Seaside week and Garden week, and Billy is going on so many fun adventures. I hope to see you there as well. See you soon. Bye bye.